Another share that was recently listed on the New York Stock Exchange is Pinterest. And if you are a woman, I'm sure you know exactly who this company is and what they do. And you can see this share skyrocketed on its listing, went as high as $35.29 in the week of the 29th of April, and then retraced all the way. And this gives it a very big range to trade. And again, not enough information and data to be able to identify a pattern or to be able to use indicators to see whether the share is overbought or oversold. So one, you can use that Fibonacci levels again. And two, you can use the candles. So the next strong support is waiting there around $29.84. If the share starts to consolidate above that, we can assume that there was enough buyers to lift this share price to higher levels. And let's just see where my support and resistance will lie when I look at Fibonacci levels. And we can see the next strong resistance will be there around $30.62, and then the support around $29.18. If you believe that Pinterest is the next is the share for the future, then maybe start to nibble around $29.18, use $27.74 or $25.95 as a stop loss, and your possible targets are $30.62, $32.67, and again that $35.29. Keith wanted us to look at Kumba. And often I refer to this share as being on steroids because it sometimes just ignores what the rand does, ignores the indicators, and just skyrockets or falls out of bed no matter what the technicals are saying. And we can see this again. There was this motion that, okay, the share is overbought and the probability of it to retrace to lower levels is there. But then yet it found enough buyers to lift it to higher levels. And if I'm not mistaken, the previous time we said that it might be building on a possible double top. But that double top is completely obsolete now. Why? Because Kumba managed to find enough buyers to lift this share above this top of this left ahead. So at the moment, we can see that the momentum to the top is clearly in place. And if you want to chase it, you can, and you can remain long on the stock as long as it's above $473.12. Or you can wait for the next selling candle or negative candle to confirm that, hey, I think the selling pressure is coming in again. This spinning candle here, the one that was formed on the week of the 17th of June 2019, highlights indecision. Why? Because my upper shadow is almost just as long as my lower shadow of the candle. And that tells me indecision. But this possible indecision was completely wiped off the table this week when it found enough buyers and lifted it. And I mean, for the week so far, it's already up 3.72%. For long-term investors, the warning will only be when the 40-week moving average, that 359 Rand 73, when that level changes into a resistance again. The long-term investors will say it's maybe time to bank a profit and move on to other things. But very important is when a share rallies like that, it often moves so far away from the 40-week moving average that this gap becomes very difficult to manage and make decisions with. So what you can do is you can try to use the support or resistance levels that will confirm weakness and use that rather as levels to say, I'm happy with my profit, let me take it and move on. And I would consider that 422 Rand 49, this level here, just as my next confirmation of possible weakness on Kumba. I want to look at Amazon again, and I'm going to continue to look at Amazon because I want to highlight how a graph can develop over time and how a formation can maybe think that that is what's going to happen, but then just do the opposite. And we can see that, yes, that resistance there around $1,961 is still there. And the next strong resistance is waiting there at $1,933, and that is the high of this candle. And it's a possible hammer candle in the making. And it's not a Friday close yet, so I don't know how this candle is going to close. But that hammer candle on Amazon can do one or two things. It can either hit out a new high, which means it can change this $1,933 into a support again, or it's going to start to prepare for new lows. And only the next candle of a hammer would confirm, and this is my hammer. this candle here. Only this candle, the next candle, will confirm whether this hammer is going to hit out new highs or are going to prepare for new lows. So Amazon is in a critical level at the moment. It is showing indecision. The bulls and the bears are looking each other in this eye and they're not sure what they want to do with the stock. If it can change $1,933 into a support and again change that in $1,965 into a support, we can assume that the weakness in the short term is off the table and it might go for a new record high. And that means it needs to change this level of $2,050 into a support and start to retrace, consolidate above it. The 40-week moving average is again your line in the sand. And we can see that for the 40-week moving average almost going horizontal for the last couple of weeks tells me that the share is actually in limbo and is not trending either upwards or downwards the way we expected and what we've seen since about 2017 when the share started to really gain momentum and reach for higher levels. On the local exchange, I want to look at British American Tobacco. And this graph is a little bit of a concern. There's two things. One, I've got a beautiful positive descending channel here. All right. And a descending channel is a positive formation, which implies that if the stock can change this upper band into a support, it can reach for higher levels. And the target of a descending channel is normally the width of the channel projected upwards from where it was confirmed. All right. But we know nothing is an exact science. So what happened here is it did confirm it on a Friday close, found selling pressures and retraced again back into the channel. And that is seen as a concern. Why? Because look how closely that red line, my 40-week moving average, is to that upper band on British American Tobacco. That means my sellers are keen to sell this stock off. And my long-term investors are keen to continue to take profit on every bounce the share experience. So I am a little bit concerned about British American Tobacco at the moment. And I would only be positive again about it on the technical side when this upper band that is waiting there around 529 Rand 44, when that changes into a support. And take note how close that is to my 40-week moving average. And my 40-week moving average is waiting at 538 Rand 86. And only when that level changes into a support on a weekly close can I maybe be a little bit more comfortable that that resistance waiting there at 572 Rand will maybe change into a support. I'm a little bit concerned, but my descending channel is a positive formation, but it will only be positive when that upper band changes into support and the share can find new buyers. We can also see that it's starting to make recent lows. So the low of this candle is waiting at 499 Rand and 7 cents. And when the stock starts to consolidate below these lows, and especially if it closes on a Friday low, British American Tobacco will be a little bit of a concern for me. But let's hope it can find enough buyers to lift it above that upper band of the descending channel. The Dow Jones. The Dow Jones Industrial Index in the US. I mean, this is a consolidation phase that's been happening since around November 2017. And it doesn't sound like a long time ago, but trust me, if you look at these graphs every day, it feels like an eternity. And yet we can see that the Dow Jones actually has not really trending much. It's caught up in this consolidation base. And yes, here around the January 2018, it found resistance and retraced. And again, September 2018 found resistance and retraced. Again, April 2019 found resistance and retraced. And we're at that level again. Why can the Dow Jones not find enough buyers to lift it above this level? I mean, it's sitting at 26,687. And yes, there's trade wars and weak dollars and Mr. Trump and his Twitter account and all these lovely things. And yes, it's very optimistic and it's a first world country and all those beautiful things. But this graph is telling me that the Dow Jones cannot find enough buyers to lift it above that level, 26,700. Let's just round it up to make it a little bit easier. 26,700 is the line in the sand. The Dow Jones, Americans need to find enough buyers to lift it above that level. Otherwise, we might see a pullback again. And my 40-week moving average is waiting at 25,416. And yes, it can maybe test it again, find enough buyers and lift it, because they understand the importance of this 40-week moving average. And we can also see here, since around August 2018, this 40-week moving average actually just went sideways. It means that this index is not trending like it should. And it means that the pension funds and all the fair funds will probably not make their targets. So it is a critical level. Will it find enough buyers? I don't know. Only time will tell. My Williams R is overbought. It's already broken downwards. But the Williams R has got a double function. One, it highlights overbought levels. Remember, when it starts to trade above a -20, and it's oversold when it starts to consolidate below a -80. But there's a critical level, and that is a -50 level on a Williams R. And that means that when this indicator starts to consolidate below the -50, it means that the momentum to the bottom can escalate. Or when it starts to come from a bottom and it starts to break this -50 towards the top, it means that the momentum towards the top can escalate. And we can see it here. Every time the Williams R changed that -50 level into a support, it skyrocketed. Again there, it retraced even further as low as 24,654. And we would probably see the same. Yes, it can maybe bounce, finds resistance and retrace even more. But that -50 level can also be used on a Williams R instead of just using it to identify overbought or oversold levels. Hope to see you soon. Cheers.